All right, welcome everybody for another episode of Modern Wong Chat. Tonight, joining us, we do have Gibi, and she is a ASMR YouTuber, a cosplayer. She's also does a lot of different things, gamer, streamer, and everything. So let me go ahead and welcome her. Hello there, Gibi.
Hello, chat.
Oh, there you are. Okay,
Chat,
yeah.
you're the best.
How'd you come about the name Gibi?
It's actually what I'm called like in real life. So a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's like a username," and I'm like, "No, no, it's like actually like my name, like what I'm called.
Actually, my name.
Like my mom calls me GB, and people are like, "Oh, that makes more sense now." So yeah,
So,
it
so
wasn't
what?
hard to come. It wasn't hard to come up with it.
What else do they have call you wrong then? Is Gibi the? I'm gonna guess Gibi is the most common one.
They call me Gibby, and yeah, Jibby, Jibby. I get Jibby a lot. Jibby and Gibby, and I'm like, there's not two B's. I don't really know what you're trying to say. I understand that maybe you wouldn't necessarily say GB at first. I sometimes just need to spell it. I'm like, no, no, it's like the letters G and B. It's like, oh, Gibby, and I'm like, no.
It's like BG but backward.
Yeah,
Oh, and then still like, oh, so Gibi. No,
GB like chibi, but people
uh,
say chibi all the time too. So
I
who
thought it
knows?
had to do with the anime. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, no, no, that's just a nice coincidence.
You got into ASMR what? How many years ago? Five,
I
seven?
started my channel in June 2016.
Only 4 years?
Oh yeah. Well, that's when I started my channel. I had watched it since 2010.
So of course you enjoyed it. What made you
But
decide to like?
I was a film major in college. So it was the summer before my senior year. So that's like that year I needed to get a job before I graduated. And so I was like working as I did a lot of editing. So I was like working at like a commercial editing place. I was working at an alcohol startup company. I worked at like all these places. I was nannying, like whatever. I was a full-time student. And I was like, I don't really want to go into the workforce, like the normal 9 to 5 workforce. Like it's truly not for me. I watch ASMR every single night and I know what it is and I love it. And I was really at the right place at the right time and I knew it. Like I saw it. I was like,
Mm,
nobody is like doing ASMR in a certain way and I
mhm.
could do it in a certain way. There was like almost no ASMR channels. Like I knew every single ASMR channel. And so I was like, all
Give me
right,
some background. Like, what's something that exists and what is something that doesn't that you're like, I got
yeah.
this.
So there was only one other channel that did any sort of costume cosplay or like anime
Mm,
videos at all. And I was like, I love cosplay, so like I can incorporate that. Like that's something new. There were not a ton of people doing ASMR who were posting regularly. Like now that seems absurd. Everybody has a posting schedule, but I didn't know
uh huh.
anyone with a posting schedule. They would just kind of throw it up when they wanted to. I don't think that like people really realize that YouTube can be full time if you treat it full time and truly do it full time. Like it can support you if you get the views and you do something that people aren't doing.
Mm, mm, mm.
So ASMR was just like a no-brainer for me because I have ASMR, I understand ASMR, and I watch so much content. I knew what I could do well. I'm not a very like sound technical person. I don't do like the very like beautiful like 2 hour long videos of like very delicate sounds. I'm like people are so good at that, and I'm like I know that's not my forte. I'm like what's my forte? I can interact with the camera and pretend it's a person. Like I did a lot of like acting on screen. I did like a lot of cosplaying. I like the immersion. I like the role plays. Like that's what I like to watch. So that's what I wanted to make. So I made my own channel.
Do you have a Patreon as well?
No, I don't do Patreon.
You thought about it?
I used to. That's how I got like started. And that's how like I went full time was thanks to my patrons. So
Hmm.
like I did this thing called the name video. And so people do it a lot now, but I that was my one that I can claim that I did that first was I was like, all right, I think like saying somebody's name would be a really good trigger because you're like, when you're in the middle of a room, it's like crowded. But if you hear
Hmm.
Martin, like you'll turn.
Hmm.
Like
Yep, yep,
you're able
yep.
to like pick your voice out. It's like our brain responds differently to our own voice. So I was like, oh, I need to like get people's names in ASMR videos. So I was like, for $2, I'll say your name.
Mm.
And like that was the tier. So it was really fun. And I did them for a year. We got up to like 1,000 names. And I was just like sitting there like whispering people's names. And I'm like, all right, after a year, I'm gonna retire this. But it worked really well. Like I sold custom ASMR videos on there. I
Huh.
did a bunch of those. So I was filming a ton and
Oh man.
it was great. But eventually I was like, you know what? Like I can support myself and I
Hmm.
wanted to move on to different things. So like something like Z's where I could instead of giving people something like whispering their name, I could give them like functions. I'm like, you can turn your phone off, you can download
Oh.
videos, you can whatever. And I'm like, that just felt better to me, like more like a product that I could deliver. So I shut down my Patreon.
You're like a Coke bottles, like Coca-Cola bottles, except
Yeah.
instead of writing the name,
Yeah. You
like
have to
I'm gonna
find your
say
name.
your name. Yeah.
I
But
bet there's a Martin in there somewhere.
you should just have it as an archive, just like here, pick your name and then just like, it's like going to a theme park,
I wonder if you could
Like,
like
ooh,
do
where's
that,
my
maybe
name?
timestamp it, because I put all the names in the description box every time. You would just have to click through all like there's like 20 of them or something that you would have to click through and try to find your name.
You did start a app, right? A smartphone
Mm-hmm.
app. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So that's called Z's. And it was
How'd you
basically
spell it?
because like Zees. We made it because there was like a huge demonetization problem a while back. And I think that a lot of people still struggle with it,
Mm.
where YouTube was just like, it did not like ASMR.
Mm.
So you'd like upload your video, you'd make it live, and then they would demonetize it. And so like then
Why?
you'd have to
Especially it's not.
sexual. They'd say it's sexual. So like you couldn't get any help. And if you got an answer, they would just tell you to like look at the community guidelines. And the community guidelines are only like 4 guidelines long. And it's like no violence, no like death, no like sex, and like no whatever. And I'm like, okay, so it's obviously like they are saying that it's sexual. It was very frustrating because most of the time, like it was really, really like not the case in any sense. Like I would get the weirdest videos demonetized, and just like we realized that like the word role play was getting flagged. So like I still don't use the word role play in any of my titles and stuff, but they won't tell you anything because they don't want you to skirt around the rules. But anyway, like everybody's videos were getting demonetized. YouTube was being terrible. Like we were all kind of like panicking a little bit. And I was like, this is just ridiculous that we can't control our own content. We have really no other place to put it. And so I was like, let me start and make something where we have somewhere that we can put it, and we can do it right, and we can do it how we want, and have it be about ASMR, like by people who understand and do ASMR. I did not know what I was getting myself into. Over a year later, we launched like Z's V1. Like it is still like it's still like a baby, and it's still like a brand new app and a new thing that we're working on. So my husband Ben, he's like in charge of like running it essentially, because I literally, like you said, like I'm like I have an ASMR channel, I have a second channel, I have Twitch, I have a bunch of other things, and I'm like
Mhm.
I also can't run an app full time. Like it's just impossible. So Ben does that. There's 26 of us on there. And so we don't use YouTube servers at all. We have our own servers. So we have to upload all of our stuff there natively. So if YouTube ever goes down, like it's on there. And we have all like
Mm.
all the perks. So you can turn your phone off, you can download the videos, you can search by trigger, you can do all those like lovely, lovely things. And I post
Nice.
exclusive content on there too. So it's just like I
Yeah, 'cause
basically made my own version of like a reward or and like a functional thing that like I wish that I had. So I just
mm.
made it.
Is it harder now to get into ASMR? And if it is,
Oh,
then
that's a really good question, because that's what I say all the time too, where it's like if I started ASMR now, I would not like my channel would not I'd be
Mhm.
buried. And like that is one of the key things, is again being at the right place at the right time. Like part of the skill of growing a channel is having the insight, where it's like I saw it, I was very aware of this niche community, and I saw that it was getting bigger, and I was like, now's the time to start a channel, because there's an opening. And now there's, because it became so big and it's so accessible and so easy and beginner friendly to start your channel,
Mhm.
there is so much, and there is so much incredible content that doesn't get the views it deserves, that doesn't get the attention it deserves, just because it's so saturated. But I mean, it's very similar to like the makeup community.
Mm.
You see these people who are great at doing makeup, they have tens of millions of subscribers, they're millionaires, they're doing great, and you're like, I can do makeup, I can do that. But it doesn't
Mhm.
matter, you didn't get there first. Like you didn't
Mhm.
like you weren't at the right place at the right time. So it like that, it unfortunately, or I mean, it like totally depends how you look at it, is like part of the equation in social media, where it's like they're like, oh man, like being a TikToker is so easy. And I'm like, go ahead, like
Do
try,
it.
like let me know how it goes. It's
Do
like
it, you won't.
it's a lot of like luck, insight, and then just like consistency and hard work, of course. I would definitely recommend that people do what makes them happy. Would I recommend, oh my God, start an ASMR channel right now because you'll be able to do it as a full-time job? I think that's irresponsible to say at this point. It's definitely harder now to like get into, to like get a full-time ASMR channel started, I would say, just because of the sheer math of it all, like the sheer
Mhm.
numbers. There's only so much audience. So
Yeah.
like you have to grow the community first, I would say.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Martin.
so
This was so
much.
fun.
No, that's great. We should hang out more. So yeah,
Yes, please.
let's hang out more. All right. Thank you so much,
Mm.
everyone. I'll see y'all next time.
Bye, chat. Thank you for
Bye.
coming.